Proceed, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Lyall Hart,
And even though it's obvious, what do you do?
police officer for the Wauchula Police Department
How long have you been with the Wauchula Police Department?
since November of 2023.
And is this your first job as a law enforcement officer, or do you have prior experience?
I have prior experience.
Where'd you work before that?
1996, I started with the Florida Department of Corrections, and then in 1999, I was hired with the Hardy County Sheriff's Office.
And so how long do you work with the Hardy County or what were the years you worked for Hardy?
1999 until 2023.
All right. And did you retire at that point?
I did.
And you missed it so much you came back?
I did.
All right. So, sir, so what was your position with the Hardy Sheriff's Office in November of 2022?
November of 2022, I was a detective.
And so would that have been your role back on November 1st of 2022?
It was.
And I do want to go back to that time frame.
Okay.
Sir? During that time frame, did you become involved in the death investigation of a Uriel Shock?
I did.
How did you become involved, sir?
I heard the call for service over the radio.
And what did you do once you received that call?
I responded to the scene in my vehicle.
And so where did you go?
I went to the incident location, Kazan Road.
And was that a residence?
It was.
Whose is that?
The defendant, Miss Nix.
And when you got out there, what was going on, sir?
As soon as I arrived, I could tell that something had happened. I already knew because of the call. And the husband had his knees down, sitting on his knees in the yard, had his hands in his face. He was crying. I think Tracy was walking around very frantic.
And do you know approximately what time you got out there?
I don't know exactly what time it was.
Okay. And so you see this that's going on. What else is going on, sir?
Medical units are arriving. Other law enforcement are arriving.
And when you say medical units, you're referring to?
The ambulances.
And so the address you went out, sorry about the question, but is that in Hardy County?
It is in Hardy County.
Okay. And what did you say Tracy Nix was doing?
She was walking around. She appeared to be in a frantic state. She was crying as well.
And did you discover what was going on out there?
I did.
What happened?
I discovered that she had left her granddaughter, Uriel, in the vehicle that she was driving that day.
Thus the frantic nature?
Correct. That was the reason that she was frantic.
And what was the granddaughter's name?
Uriel Shock.
And was Uriel Shock there when you got there?
I believe she was in the ambulance, if not, had already been transported.
Okay. So what did you do next, sir, once you're out of that scene?
My supervisor advised me to go to the hospital, the Advent Health in Wauchula, and take possession, not possession, but be there for the scene of the child and begin photographing Uriel Shock.
And so you took photographs?
I did.
Approaching you with what's been pre-marked as State Exhibits 4 through 8. Please keep them down and go through each one of them. See if you recognize them. Look up when you're ready to proceed, sir. Okay? Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
First, I'd like to, for you to take a look at State Exhibit number 4. It should have been in order.
Okay.
Do you recognize that item, sir?
I do.
What is that?
It's a picture of Uriel Shock in the hospital bed.
And what was Uriel's status when you were taking these pictures?
She was already deceased.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of what you observed that day at the hospital?
It is.
Your Honor, the state would seek to enter into State's Exhibit number 4.
Defense, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
So admitted without objection.
And the state will publish them once they've all been admitted, Your Honor. Would you please take a look at State's Exhibit number 5, sir?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a picture of Uriel Shock's little hand.
And what does the picture show?
The hand is clasped shut, like gripping.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed that day in the hospital?
It is.
Your Honor, the state would seek to enter in State's Exhibit number 5 at this time.
Defense,
No objection.
admitted without objection.
Would you please turn to State's Exhibit 6? Do you recognize State's Exhibit 6?
I do.
What is that?
It's a knitted, crocheted blanket that the hospital provided for Uriel Shock.
Is that to place her in, I guess?
It was to cover her up to comfort.
Okay. And does that fairly and accurately depict that blanket that you saw that day?
It does.
Your Honor, the state would seek to enter in State's Exhibit number 6 at this time.
Defense,
No objection.
admitted without objection. Number 6.
And finally, State's Exhibit, or second, finally, State's Exhibit number 7, do you recognize that item?
I do.
What is that?
It's the little red or pink onesie that Uriel was wearing that day.
And does that fairly and accurately depict the onesie as you saw it that day?
It does.
Your Honor, the state would seek to enter State's Exhibit number 7 at this time.
Defense,
No objection.
admitted without objection. Number 7.
And finally, State's Exhibit number 8, would you please look at that?
I did.
What is that?
It's a little teddy bear.
And why was that photographed?
I don't know why I photographed it, but I put it in with Uriel before I zipped up her body bag.
Is that something that was with her?
It was.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw that day?
It is.
State would seek to enter State's Exhibit number 8.
Defense,
No objection on relevance, Judge.
so brought. All right, members of the jury, I'm sustaining the objection on the number 8. You're not to consider that as evidence, which is repetitive.
And Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to just publish State's Exhibits 4 through 7.
All right,
And
go
please
ahead
let
and,
me-
hang on a sec. Go ahead and publish. Go ahead and give me number 8, please. Do you have 8?
Yes.
Now publishing State's Exhibit number 4. And once again, sir, what was this?
That is Uriel Shock in the hospital.
State's Exhibit number 5, and once again, sir.
That is her little clenched hand as she was laying on the bed in the hospital.
State's Exhibit number 6.
That is the hand crocheted blanket that some of the hospital staff had.
And State's Exhibit number 7.
That is Uriel Shock's onesie that she was wearing the day of the incident.
All right, if you'll please, when you're done with those exhibits, we'll give them to the clerk.
Yes, Your Honor.
I already moved it and
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate that. Did you do anything further at the hospital, sir?
Yes.
What else?
As the family arrived, I unzipped the body bag and tried to make it a little presentable so they could say their goodbyes.
Okay. And following that, sir?
I contacted the medical examiner and was advised by him to have Uriel Shock sent up to him.
So it went to the medical examiner's office?
She did.
She did, yeah. Following making sure that Uriel went to the medical examiner, what was your next step in this case, sir?
I interviewed the 3 ladies that had lunch with Miss Nix at the Beef O'Brady's.
And who would that be?
If I can look at my notes.
If you need to refresh your recollection, please do so, then look up when you're ready.
Okay. One of the ladies was Judy Terrell. The second lady was Miss Brenda Knight. And the third lady was Barbara Knight.
And as far as this case, I guess you conducted a couple more interviews, is that correct, of some people?
I did.
Who else did you interview in the case?
Her sister, Kayla's sister, the mother of Uriel Shock, and her brother-in-law.
Okay. And who was that? Refresh your recollection, sir, and look up.
Kayla's sister is Rebecca, and the brother-in-law's name is Jonathan Tucker.
And sir, does that conclude your involvement in the case?
It does.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Defense, Cross?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
You indicated that when you first got there that you saw Nay Nix.
I did.
Okay, do you know him?
I do.
Okay, and how long have you known him?
I don't know him personally. I just know of him personally.
Know of him?
Yes.
And what was he doing?
He was on his knees in the grass, and he was crying.
Okay. And you indicated that you saw Tracy Nix also.
I did.
And what was she doing?
She was walking around. She was hysterical, frantic. She wasn't screaming. She was just, you can tell when somebody is not normal, walking around in a frantic state.
Okay. Anything else that you noticed about Tracy Nix?
Nothing other than that. I was there a brief time.
All right. And you never saw her go behind the barn?
Look at my notes to see. No, I never seen her go behind the barn.
Thank you. I have no further questions, John.
All right, redirect.
No, Your Honor.
All right, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Thank you, officer. You're excused from your subpoena. You can go over and redirect.
Yes, sir.
All right, state, call the next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State would call Detective Shane Ward.
All right, sir. Come on out and get us sworn in.